Hello everyone, welcome to season 3, episode 4 of... Oh, it's not the flip side.
It's not the flip side. No, I was going to say, why are you waiting for me to say it? I'll say it if you like.
I was waiting for you to say it. Okay, so...
I see bad movies, motherfucker.
Well, by now, season 3, episode 4, we are a well-oiled machine.
Yes, we are. Can't you tell?
But yes, because I kind of cut over you there while you were saying it. But yeah, I see bad movies. Welcome everyone. I'm one of your hosts, Dave Keane, and I'm joined by the super smashing lovely Emma Spicer.
You're struggling now, aren't you?
I am very much struggling.
Me.
There are only so many descriptive words I can use for you that are nice.
They're nice. Well, quite surprised you're being nice.
Well, you might not think I'm being nice with the movie that we're watching tonight, Emma. Because last episode, I should say, we had a rather wonderful time in the world of Samuel L. Jackson and Snakes on a Plane.
Yeah.
However, this week, Emma, we are watching a movie called Birdemic.
I know.
Shock and Terror.
And just the name of it is making me think,
yeah,
it's not going to be as fun as last week.
Well, I'm hoping that it's like so bad we laugh a lot. Hopefully. That's what I'm hoping.
Something has put me off already because we've just had a quick look at the synopsis. And someone's written a synopsis. Synopsis? That's not a word.
Symposium?
Someone's done a write-up. And they have said that it's 45 minutes before you get anything. Action.
Yeah.
So that, I'm just thinking how shark is putting me off. But we will soldier on and we will get through it. So it's an hour and 45 again, isn't it?
It's another hour and 45 minutes.
Which last time didn't feel like an hour and 45 because time flies when you're having fun.
Correct.
And
I like the pun, time flies.
Yeah.
Oh, well played.
But this one I feel like it's going to be a bit of a drag. But we'll see.
We shall see. And speaking of the synopsis...
Yes.
Shall I give you the short synopsis?
Yes,
so
please.
We can really figure out what's happening in this movie.
That could take 45 minutes as well.
Yeah, I know. Oh, God. You know how I like to go on. So, in the town of Half Moon Bay, California, an epidemic is on the horizon. A birdemic. All the birds are attacking humanity for the devastating damage that they are inflicting on the earth. They're going after gas stations and people's cars, and the birds have something the humans will never see coming. Bird acid.
Hold on, what?
Bird
acid?
If it's a movie I've never seen before, I don't read.
With acid?
Yeah, apparently.
What's bird acid?
Well, I'm imagining it's acid that comes from birds. Or it's made of birds.
What?
I really don't know.
This makes no sense.
I
just assumed they were just attacking people with their beaks and claws and stuff.
Yeah.
Not with acid.
But no acid.
Wow.
How do you think they do it? Do you think like they spit acid? Or like
do you know what?
alien, it's their blood?
When you first said it, I just imagined them with like a beaker of acid under their wing. And then just throwing it over.
The only trouble is they can only fly in circles.
Yeah, that's true. Or like they could carry it with their claws.
Oh yeah.
A little bottle of acid, and then they could just sprinkle it.
Sprinkle it like acid rain.
Yeah, they put it in a little like salt shaker and just sprinkle it over people.
I haven't read the synopsis, and I was going to say, if it's a movie I've never seen, I don't read the synopsis until we get to this point. And yeah, bird acid.
Wow.
That caught me unawares.
I think that caught everyone unawares.
Well, it would do. You don't expect birds to be carrying acid.
The thing is, they don't need to. Surely they've got beaks and claws.
What if you're just a little bird? What if you're just like a little finch? What damage are you going to do?
Well, true, but they're not though, are they? We've seen the cover.
Well, yeah, fair. There's a picture from the film, where they don't look like little finches.
Yeah, they're not like little robins, are they? Here, they're decent sized birds.
They are pretty decent sized birds.
What kind of birds are they? I wonder.
Oh, acid birds. I can't think of a decent pun.
Venomous birds.
Actually, Emma, I think you'll find that acid is a compound, not a poison or a venom. So, actually, I don't even know if acid is a compound. I can't even remember from science class what a compound is. So I mean, who knows? I don't know science well.
Scientists will know.
Scientists will know. But I'm pretty sure that birds can have acid.
Oh, well, it's, it's the movie world. Anything can happen.
It's the movie world indeed.
If you can keep a head in a tank and keep it alive, like in Crank 3, Crank 2, not Crank 3, Crank 2.
Oh, wait, we're giving away our plans for Crank 3 here.
In Crank 2, then anything's possible in movie land.
I suppose.
Surely.
Yeah, and if you can get a giant boa constrictor in a small box on a plane.
If you can get a house shark, I mean, come on, the possibilities are endless.
They are indeed.
So we're going with the bird acid. So what happens next? Is that it? Is that the synopsis?
That's the synopsis.
Oh, okay.
That's the synopsis. We're going to find out what happens when we watch it, as you can imagine. Wait.
Has made it slightly more interesting for me though, because I was just assuming they were going to attack.
Just
with what God gave them,
beaks.
Just their claws and their beaks.
Well, I mean, if you argue that, God gave us acid, so
wow. Okay. Didn't give it to birds though, did he?
No. Clearly now though. Clearly now. All right. So oh dear, this could be
chaotic.
This could go one of two ways. This movie, it really could. All right, I'm gonna flip the coin now. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. What do you reckon we got?
I'm hoping for bad.
Hoping?
Because we've done good a couple of times recently,
Yeah,
haven't
I think we have actually. Yeah, let's see what we got. We got bad.
We got bad.
We got bad.
It's good.
Amazing. No, it's bad.
It's good that we got bad.
No, it is good that we got bad, because I think there'll be plenty of bad to talk about for the main show. All right, so as is our way, we flip the coin. We know we're looking at the good or the bad. It's now down to me to pick the categories that we're going to be looking at. So our first category today is stunts.
Oh, okay.
We haven't had stunts for a while.
No, and we haven't seen this movie before, so we don't know.
There could be all sorts.
The last couple of movies we have actually seen before, so we kind of knew what to expect. But
a costume.
I wonder if they'll dress up in a ladybird costume, not a ladybird.
Not a ladybird.
Not a ladybird. A female bird costume. Like on House Shark, you know what I mean.
Well, there was a ladybird in House Shark as well. That was the wife's name. Ladybird.
Oh, it was, yeah.
All right. Our next one is special effects.
Oh, hopefully there'll be some good special effects.
I am looking forward to that. Okay, special effects is our next one. Okay, fourth card, best death.
Oh, that's normally a good one.
Yeah, it can be. Although we've seen some terrible deaths. Well, I guess that'll just come up on the episode if there's terrible deaths, won't they? Oh, and we've got accent.
Oh, let's hope there's a good accent.
I hope there is. I hope there's something, like maybe it cuts to a scientist.
We haven't had a good accent for a while, have we?
No, we haven't.
Oh, no, we have. In House Shark we had the German guy that wasn't German.
Oh, that's true.
He turned out not to be German in the end.
That's very true. And I suppose, I mean, the first time we had a really bad accent was all the way back in episode 1 with the Ghost of Borley Rectory.
Yes.
When we had the farmer guy doing that kind of voice. But anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, so shall we go and give Birdemic a watch?
Let's do it.
Well, Emma, welcome back after watching Birdemic.
Another hard watch.
Oh, wasn't it? My God.
Not as bad as House Shark, but it's up there.
Yeah, I mean, House Shark is bad because it's terrible, gross out humour, and it's a lot of unnecessary stuff. Whereas Birdemic is a lot of unnecessary stuff.
It's just boring.
But it's just boring with it, yeah. And also, like, it portrays like some sort of apocalypse by birds, but while they're filming it like live in just various places, the real world's still going on behind them.
Yeah, and it's, I mean, we'll get into it, but there's, again, with a lot of these movies, there's no consistency and it doesn't make sense. So these birds are evil birds that are trying to kill everyone.
Well, are they evil? Because they're trying to stop humans from mistreating nature. So, from the Earth's perspective, they're good.
They're good. If you're a human, not so great.
Yeah.
But then, it's inconsistent again because it's like Piranha. Sometimes it's...
Yeah.
they're doing their thing, and other times they're just kind of hovering and flapping. And we will get into the CGI because that was amazing.
Oh, it was wonderful.
I mean, I've never seen anything quite like it.
I'll tell you what, I'm really, really glad that we're focusing on the bad stuff in this episode.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because there is definitely more bad to talk about than there is good.
We've got a couple of notes for good, haven't we? But there's not a lot.
Not many notes about good stuff.
No.
So, if you do come over to the flip side and listen to the... oh my God. Oh no. I just said the words.
You said it.
It's not my place to say.
How could you?
I'm so sorry. Can you forgive me?
No.
Oh, damn it.
So anyway, that's the end of this podcast.
That's the end of the podcast. It's been fun.
Thanks,
but
bye.
Bye. I'm so sorry. So if you come over to our bonus episode...
The flip side.
Then you'll probably hear us really maybe tear into the movie a little bit further, I think.
Yeah.
Where we try and find some of the good, but fail miserably.
I think we're going to really struggle.
Yeah, I think really struggle. Anyway, before we go into what the film was like, let's get back on track.
Shall we?
Shall we?
Yeah, go on then.
All right, okay. All right, so Birdemic is terrible. The end. Bye.
Don't watch it. Don't waste your life.
I don't agree with that. I think everybody needs to watch Birdemic at least once.
Okay.
To get it out of their system. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I guess watch it for the terrible CGI.
Yeah.
That is quite funny.
And don't watch it expecting a good bad movie.
No.
Because, sometimes these terribly low budget ones can be like, oh, actually, they just did what they could with it. And while that might be true, they did what they could, it's just...
It's no killer sofa.
It's no killer sofa.
And it's no...
no...
Oh, there's another one, but we haven't covered that one.
Oh, yeah, we've not covered that yet, yeah.
And it's no carousel.
It is definitely no carousel. Definitely not. It's not even Ghost of Baldy Rectory.
No.
Because that at least actually had scenes that were there for a purpose, mostly.
Yeah.
Rather than this. But again, we digress.
Yes, we do.
Because let's talk about the Birdemic. So, Birdemic follows our hapless hero. What's his name? Rod?
Rod. Is he a hero? Does he actually do anything?
Well, he doesn't really do anything heroic, I suppose. He's our main character.
Yeah.
Well, I say he's our main character. He is our joint main character.
Yes.
With you've got Rod and you've got Natalie.
Yes.
Now, Rod and Natalie meet each other very early in the movie.
Yep.
Rod's going into a diner. He sits down, and he sees this beautiful woman walk past him, and I wouldn't do this. Just get up and follow them out of the diner.
It's stalkerish, isn't it? Just get up and follow somebody.
It is, isn't it?
I mean, it worked for Rod.
It did work for Rod. In Rod we trust. But yeah, so he follows Natalie out of the diner and introduces himself by going, "Hey, I know you from somewhere." Like, they knew each other from school.
Yeah.
And he's wondering why she's back in town.
Yeah.
So Natalie's back in town because she's going for a modelling job. Yeah,
Which is brilliant.
Oh.
She kind of just looks over her shoulder a couple of times at the camera, and that's her modelling done.
It's exactly how I would attempt to model if anyone asked me.
This looks like a really taxing job. She just kind of stands and looks over her shoulder, and then it's like, oh, okay, she's done.
I didn't know modelling was so easy.
A couple of different outfits.
Yeah, change of outfit.
Yeah.
Different look over the shoulder.
Yeah.
Although she didn't ever turn left.
No.
Just like Zoolander.
Very limited.
Wait, was Zoolander couldn't turn left or couldn't turn right?
Oh, I can't remember.
I honestly can't remember. But that's a great film. Should we just have watched Zoolander instead?
Yeah, definitely. Why don't we do I See Good Movies?
Why didn't we do I See Good Movies? Because that's too easy on us.
It'd be boring, wouldn't it?
It is boring.
Yeah.
Oh, this film was great. Bye, everyone.
Yeah. And then what service are we providing? Because we're watching them so you don't have to. So if we watch good movies, we're not providing a service, are we?
Yeah, imagine if I had to turn around and said, "Hey, guess what, everyone? I've seen this great movie called Jaws. I've watched it, so you don't have to. It's great. Good night."
But I want to now.
No, sorry, you can't. You can't watch this movie. You can't watch Alien. You can't watch Jaws.
So I guess we make ourselves feel better by knowing that we're helping save people's time.
Yeah. That's it, absolutely.
We're like
It's
a
not what they do in
charity, really.
Birdemic, though, is it?
No.
They don't save anyone's time in
Oh
Birdemic.
God, it's unnecessarily long.
I mean, I just told you, right, that Rod meets Natalie at the diner, but that is about after 5 minutes of the driving montage.
Oh, yeah, so many scenes where he's just driving or they're just walking somewhere for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
There's not even any dialogue, it's just he walks from one place to the other. There's so much filler.
Yeah.
And the first 45 minutes is nothing happens. Literally, it's just about them meeting and going on a date, isn't it? And then nothing else happens. There's no mention of the birds. There's no...
No, there is
kind of
nothing.
lead up to it or there's talk of... Because normally in a disaster movie, there's kind of... It trickles through, doesn't it? It's like, this has happened and that's... And so-and-so in Chicago has said that's happened.
You need to know that so like someone in India is like the neutrinos are mutating, you know?
Yeah, it's like you get like little trickles of, something's going on here. But with Birdemic, it's literally just like nothing for 45 minutes, then all of a sudden there's birds and we should be
The
scared.
only thing we get is a news article.
Oh, I forgot about the newsreader.
There's a newsreader who basically just says something along the lines of that, you know, the polar ice caps are melting and the polar bears are having to migrate further and further north, and they're running out of food because seals aren't found that far north, etc., etc. And ultimately, it's, you know, like the birds are here to deal with mankind for mistreating the world. But it's not like there's not even any kind of like, you know, reports of attacks in rural areas or something
there's nothing
to make us think, oh, what's going on, you know? Disaster movies and things like that do it a lot differently than this, to kind of introduce the issue so much earlier.
Like we've got, I mean, whatever this film, what was it, an hour and a half-ish?
It was an hour and a half, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like they've said, normal movie, about an hour and a half.
Aye.
We've got 45 minutes of stuff, action and storyline. We've got to fill the other half.
Yeah, let's just put a load of stuff in.
The first half of the movie is so pointless, apart from them meeting, which obviously is relevant because they go through this together. But once they've met, you don't need to do... I mean, they have a date at one point that goes on for about 2 days, doesn't it? It's just
I'd almost... Oh yeah, never ends. The date doesn't end.
They pack so much into this date. It's like, how many hours have they been together?
I know.
And this is only like first or second date, isn't it?
Yeah, it's literally the second date. Yeah, it's literally the second date. And this is the thing, right? This isn't so much like an animal attack movie. This is more like a romance happening in the middle of an animal attack.
Yes, it is.
But it's not treated like that by the filmmakers either.
No, not at all.
You know, it doesn't know what it is, really. You know, I wouldn't mind seeing a romantic movie in the midst of this background thing happening.
Yeah.
Fine. You know, you don't have to be the hero saving the day against these birds. That's okay. But don't make it like... Don't then have the hero running around with a gun shooting birds out the sky and saving people all day.
Yeah.
You know, just don't do that.
It is. The first half of the movie is just totally pointless.
And I also have, if you are a bad movie maker listening to this, there's nothing wrong with having a movie an hour and 10 minutes long.
No.
There's nothing wrong with it.
We wouldn't mind that sometimes, would we?
No, absolutely. Why does it have to be an hour and a half?
Yeah, you don't have to fill in the time. If you're just filling, then just make it shorter, because no one appreciates it. Because like you said, there were scenes where he was just driving his car, and we're not exaggerating, for 5 minutes. You can do a shot of somebody driving their car for a few seconds and get, okay, he's driving his car.
Oh, he's driving his car.
We've got it.
We've established it.
Yeah. And then, like I say, there's some scenes where they're just walking somewhere. There's not even any dialogue. It's just kind of, they're going from A to B. Do we really need a 5-minute scene to see that?
Yeah.
You know, even if you just got them walking in the door somewhere. Oh, okay, we know they're there now.
Do you know what it is? Someone listened to the old phrase, show, don't tell, a little bit too much for this movie.
Yeah.
And look, I will accept a small amount of exposition over watching them do this. If they'd walked in to the motel that night, because I mean, look, they end up in a motel after this big date, and we'll get to the actual process.
That was weird, because she's got her own place, so why would you go back to a motel?
They get to this motel after the big date. I would not have minded if it had just been them going to this motel and going, wasn't that a lovely day we had together at the pumpkin fair?
Yeah.
I'd accept that. I don't need to see them walking around the pumpkin fair for
No.
however long for the movie. So, anyway, still we're griping about Birdemic, but let's get back on track with the synopsis. So, Rod and Natalie part ways. Rod goes to his job. Natalie goes to a model shoot.
Yeah.
Rod is a salesman for a high-tech firm.
Some sort of.
No real idea of what they
don't
do.
really know what
They're
sell.
just high-tech. He makes, and this is one thing I love about this movie though,
Yeah.
just because it's so simplistic. It's like it was written by, it was written by a kid.
Yeah.
You know, like your main character within the first 10, 15 minutes of the film makes £1 million or $1 million
Yes,
sale.
it does. You see him on the phone, don't you, making this deal?
Yeah.
And
shall we sign you up for that?
yeah, it's literally as easy as that. It's like, we'll sign you up. Done, deal done. But it's so obvious as well. He makes it so obvious that there's nobody on the other end of the phone. It's so like blatantly leave a little pause to make it seem like you're having a conversation. But it's so obvious that it's just him talking to himself.
Yeah.
And yeah, we'll probably get into this, but Rod's acting was excruciating.
It was really,
It was so
really
wooden.
dire.
There was no. I mean, I can't act to save my life, but I think I could do a better job than Rod.
Oh,
He was just
I guarantee.
unbearable.
Emma, you act like you act like you enjoy my company. So
Oh yeah, that's true.
already you're acting
But I mean,
better
the
than
date
Rod.
scene, the first date, it was painful.
Yeah.
It was, and I was just sitting there thinking, if I was on a date with a guy this boring, I would have to have made an excuse and go. And she's loving it. She's sitting there giggling her head off, and she's like, "Oh, you're so nice, and you're so
And
successful, and you're
that's
so
what
amazing."
makes me think it was written by a young kid.
Yeah.
You know, because it's like this is what Anyway, we'll get to it.
Yeah,
We'll get to
to the date.
So Rod tells his pal Rick. I think Rick.
Is it Rick?
Yeah, because
we just had some confusion.
we had a
over
lot of
the
confusion.
character.
Rick is his pal. Ramsey is the guy that they meet in the motel.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And again, what I don't understand, no, we'll get to it. We'll get to it because I'm getting seriously sidetracked by all the issues in this movie. So Rod tells his friend Rick, okay,
Yeah.
that he's just made this $1 million sale, and he met this kind of beautiful woman, and he's going to take her on a date, etc., and all that's going to be sorted. So life is going well for Rod.
Very well.
Very well for Rod. I don't understand. Like he tells his pal that he's done this $1 million sale. Oh, but they're playing. Then they're playing basketball.
Yeah, they're playing basketball, but
really
Rod's
badly.
friend is definitely bi-curious because
100%.
he's like humping him, and he's very hands-on and touchy-feely
really
with him,
is.
isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
And I think they're meant. Yeah, they are meant to both be heterosexual because they both
yeah,
women, don't they?
yeah, they're both. Yeah.
So, but yeah, he's definitely got a bit of a crush on Rod because it's not normal guy kind of. Well, I'm not a guy, but I assume that you don't hump each other when you see each other.
No, we don't. No, I mean, I don't know if that's someone's interpretation of like, this is what guys do on the sports field when they're playing the sports. That's what they do. They hump each other. Maybe. I'm not a big sports person.
No, but I wouldn't have.
I barely tolerate sports. I mean, listeners, let us know if you've seen, some male on male action at the sports centres.
Do we want to know? Do we want to know?
I mean, we don't need to know the details.
No.
But if you've seen men humping each other,
Don't tell us.
don't tell us. Actually, yeah, I think I'm fine without knowing the details. And at the same time, he's doing that. Natalie's having her photo shoot, which is the really amazing photo shoot that's going on. They meet up for their date, and then it is literally Rod's acting is the worst in the world.
He's telling, and also he just sits there and brags about his job pretty much.
Yeah.
I'm going to make loads of money.
Well,
I'm really good at my job.
that's the thing as well. It seems like Natalie's trying really hard to keep some conversation going because she's like,
she's working
"What
hard.
do you do for fun?"
Yeah.
And his response is, "Well, I enjoy sports."
Oh, it's literally like he's reading.
Yeah.
He's reading the lines it's not natural at all. Is it?
If you read the worst Tinder bio in the world,
I like sports. I like reading. I said to you at one point, it's like he's trying to get through his lines so quickly. Like when kids are at school and they're nervous being up on the stage, and
Yeah.
they just blah, 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 like read really quick, or like say their lines really quickly just to get off the stage again because they're shy or they're like embarrassed. He was like that with his lines. He was like, get these lines out of the way. And then it was almost like you could see relief on his face when he's finished his lines and she's got to talk.
Yes.
But he was so wooden. It was like he didn't put anything into the performance at all. Like it was literally just like, I'm standing here reading this line and it's your turn now, go. Like, it was honestly like that, wasn't it?
It was.
There was nothing. It was, I mean, like I say, I can't act at all, but I'm sure I could put something into a performance if I had to.
Yeah, I mean,
like, give it something.
Absolutely. There's a difference
Give it some
between.
enthusiasm, especially if you're acting like you're on a date.
Oh,
He didn't even look like he was interested in her. He was just like,
Yeah.
and I do really well at my job, and I'm amazing, and I'm going to have loads of money, and it was just come across as
Because
really
that was
arrogant.
exactly one thing he said as well. You know,
Yeah.
he said about how he just made $1 million sale and he works for a tech company and he's got, sorry, excuse me, and I've got stock options. If we are bought by a major company, basically I'm going to be very rich.
Yeah.
And then I can start up my own company that I've got planned to do. Oh my God.
I know, it was
Oh
the
my
worst.
God.
It was painful to watch that date.
And I haven't even talked about after the basketball game and before the date, there's like a long scene of him going to go see a new house.
Oh, there is, yes.
And it's like there's like another added in thing that just goes
and
on.
that's totally pointless. Oh,
You know-
he does say that on the date, doesn't he? Does he say about buying a house on the date?
He says about buying the house on the date, but it's like, well, just say it on the date. We don't need to see it.
We didn't
Just
need to
say
see
it.
that at all because it was literally just him outside a house, like looking at it. So basically, the date is quite an arrogant man just bragging about how great he is, and that's not attractive to most women.
And actually, probably quite common,
Yeah, unfortunately. Yeah.
unfortunately.
I think I
So-
did say to it at the time, I've been on dates like this.
So Rod really is just the everyman of the piece. He's just he's just a fella.
Yeah, the thing is, when you see dates in movies,
Yeah.
sometimes they go too far the other way and they ham it up too much and it's too
It's
like
too
cheesy
perfect.
or it's too like
yeah.
you know. But this was just like, if you'd gone on that date, you wouldn't be seeing that guy again.
No, I bet.
I felt like she was trying to put something into the performance.
Yes.
She was trying to be like, you know, oh, I'm on a date, I'm giggly, I'm enjoying your company, I'm kind of, you know, like, I'm excited to be with you. There
Yeah.
was something coming through from her, but he
There
was
was.
just like, yes, I make lots of money. Yes, I'm going to buy a big house. And it was just like, oh my God.
Come on, Rod. Put a little bit of life
Yeah,
into
put
it.
something into it.
Because he does then say, what do you like to do?
Yeah.
And she is like, oh, you know, I like to go to the cinema with my friends. I like to hang out.
Yeah.
You know, like to have fun. I like, you know, keep myself fit. Blah blah blah. But she's putting life, as you say.
She's trying to get some sort of. If you're going to have a date as actors, you've got to give the illusion of chemistry.
Yeah.
If they see each other again, they end up dating. So there's got to be something there on that first date. Otherwise, you don't see each other again.
Yeah. And what is it? He walks her home after this first date.
Yes.
And she gives him a kiss on the cheek, and he says,
Am I not coming up or something?
"Oh, am I not coming in?" She went, "Not on the first date."
Yeah. I'm not that kind of girl or something.
Yeah, I'm not that
isn't
kind of girl. And he said something. I can't remember what it was
I
that he
can't
said,
remember.
but it was like, "Oh,
Yeah, it kind of makes it seem like, oh, I don't normally get knocked back. Like, just arrogance
Yeah.
again. Like,
And really, Rod, I'm pretty sure you do get
yeah.
knocked back
Well,
quite
if
a
you're that
lot.
boring, you probably don't get to go into many girls' houses.
But I think just that simple line of him being like, "Oh, am I not coming in?" It's
Yeah.
like, you know,
Yeah.
don't assume, Rod. She's giving you a kiss on the cheek.
Didn't we have a
Let her
conversation
go.
about this? Because we were saying that there's a lot of guys that think, I've paid for dinner, now you're
Yeah.
having sex. It's like, it doesn't work like that.
No, it doesn't. It
If you've asked to
doesn't.
take me out and do it because you want to.
Yeah,
But don't assume you're going to get something in return.
yeah.
And that was how he was coming across, wasn't he? Like, oh, hang on, I've taken you out for dinner, I've paid for it, and I'm not coming in. Like, yeah, that's not how it works.
That's how it works. You know, if you choose to pay, great, good for you.
Yeah.
Or I could have paid my way. I mean, at the end of the
Basically
day,
prostitution then. It's like, you
Natalie-
paid for something.
yeah,
Now I've got to
Natalie
give you-
is at the end of the day a Victoria's Secret's cover model.
Well, she is in the end because she gets the job, doesn't she?
She gets the
Victoria's
job, yeah.
Secret.
She gets
and
the job.
It's that easy. I mean, I did say to you, because what was her modelling agency called? Dreams Models or something, wasn't it?
Oh
With a
yeah,
really tacky
dreams.
logo.
Yeah, dreams
And I was
models.
like, Victoria's Secret aren't booking models from that agency.
No,
Pretty sure.
I don't think they are.
They didn't look very professional, did they?
No. No, they didn't.
Especially after the photo shoot that she did. I don't think Victoria's
Well, the
Secret
photo
can
shoot
have
was in like a 1 hour photo studio.
Oh yes, it was, wasn't it?
It looks like the sort of place where you'd have
Yeah.
to pay them to take the
Yes.
photos of you, you know,
Yeah.
rather than them being like, yeah, join the modelling scene, we'll get your portfolio. No,
Yeah.
actually, we'll do a portfolio for you, but it'll cost you $1,000.
Yeah.
And then we'll never hear from us again.
Yeah.
But yeah. And it did make me chuckle as well when, I mean, the photo shoot finishes and she basically gets a phone call like, oh, Victoria, this isn't the voice of the
No, it's
person,
not.
but I imagine a really, you know, like, oh, Victoria's Secret's called.
Like the agent in Friends.
Yeah.
Agent. What's her name? Estelle. Is it Estelle?
Stella?
Stella or Estelle?
Oh, Estelle.
Estelle, yeah.
Yeah. Is it,
Yeah.
Oh.
That's what you were reminding me of then
Yeah.
when you were doing that.
Is that the one that goes, good, now your turn? Is that her?
She's like really hoarse like that.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
She's, I don't know, she's from
That's why I
Brooklyn
thought of
somewhere.
her. That's why I thought of her.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Victoria's Secret's called. They want you to be the cover model.
Yeah. And it's like, I'm pretty sure this is her first modelling job because she doesn't look very professional. And then she's booked Victoria's Secret from that. Don't think so.
Yeah, but she does. It is true
Yeah.
for this movie because it was written
then-
by a 9-year-old
Yeah.
and just having like complete wish fulfillment going on for the main characters.
I can be anything I want to be.
Yeah.
That's what my mum tells me.
You know, I would be surprised if Rod ended up being a spaceman
Yeah.
in Birdemic 2 or 3 or whatever,
Yeah, flying
whatever
off with the
happens in
birds.
them. Oh.
Rod sprouts wings at the end and flies off with the birds. And starts protecting the planet.
Don't call them Captain Planet though. They will
No.
get sued.
No.
They will get sued.
Yeah.
Now, you'd think, oh, surely something's going to happen with the birds now.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't. No, because then
Nothing
we
at
find out, and again, this isn't like the right order, but some of the things that happen next is we find out that the company that Rod works for is going to be bought
Yes.
by
Is that when they had that
Oracle
weird
company. They have a weird big meeting, and basically this manager comes in, this like
Yeah.
the CEO of this tech company that they work for comes in and goes, "You'll be pleased to know that Oracle company has agreed to purchase us for $1 billion."
It was a bit like Dr. Evil though, wasn't it? In Austin Powers, like $1 trillion.
Whoa!
But the boss guy, every time he said something, he nodded and then got everyone to clap. And it's like, that's not how professional corporate meetings work. Everyone's not sitting there clapping at everything. So it's weird.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Yeah, it was really bizarre.
And again, Rick, his friend, in the boardroom, not on the sports field, starts pretending to hump Rod.
Yeah.
And why does he do it?
There's no explanation for it because they're both heterosexual. It's just, yeah, it's a bit... I've never seen guys act like that.
And if I was sitting across from that in the boardroom, I would go, hey guys,
Yeah,
We're
especially at work. It's
we're
like,
a $1 billion company.
yeah.
We shouldn't be behaving like that in the
Nobody should be
boardroom.
humping anyone in the boardroom.
Yeah. You wouldn't
Yeah.
would you do it to Janice over there? No, you
No,
wouldn't.
because then that would be
You
sexual
wouldn't do it,
harassment.
Rick. So don't do it to Rod. You'd have to like stand up for Rod.
Yeah.
You know, stop
Maybe
harassing
he
Rod.
was enjoying it. We don't know. He doesn't seem to say anything when he does it.
Yeah, he doesn't. But maybe he feels he can't say something because Rick's so domineering.
Yeah, maybe.
Who knows? Who knows? Anyway. So this does ultimately lead us to our second date, doesn't it?
Yes, the second date that never ends.
The second date. This is the date that never ends. But the weird thing about the second date is they go to visit Natalie's mother.
They go, I'm sure, is it the first date or the second date where they come out and there's that tree and the birds? We first see the birds around the tree.
Oh, that's at the end of the first date.
Oh, that's the first date.
After the
I
first
got them
date,
confused
but I
then.
want to talk about those birds.
Yes, so on the second date, they go to the pumpkin festival, visit Natalie's mum for a bit, and then they go to the Irish bar for food and drink, is it?
And
The Irish
dancing.
bar? And the dancing. And that was painful as well.
And the thing is, as well, right? If you ran an Irish bar, Emma,
Yeah.
would you have like a soul singer come along and do stuff, or would you maybe
Probably not
try and
in an
get
Irish
some
bar.
form of band to play Irish music?
Probably go down the
know.
Irish music route.
A bit of the Cause,
Probably have like Irish
a bit
decor.
of Bewitched.
A bit bewitched. Yeah.
Some people say it looks like Bida.
Isn't it? Fight like me dad.
Is it fight or is it look?
I think it's fight like me dad.
I like to think it's look.
Oh, okay.
I like to think it's. Are you
I
going to
need
look it
up
up?
the lyrics now.
You're going to look up the lyrics to Bewitched. And actually,
What's the song
I
called?
would watch Say You Will, Say You Will, Say You Won't.
He knows it.
Say whatever you want. Yeah, that's it, isn't it? Say You Will. Anyway,
I don't know.
You're getting me singing now. But it's intimately much more entertaining than Birdemic.
But the guy, I think we should talk about music.
Yes.
Because the guy in the Irish bar, it actually got a catchy little song that we quite liked.
Yes, it was. And I think actually that was my favourite thing about the film was this song coming on. It certainly livened it up. And also,
it's Fight Like Me Dad.
It is Fight Like My Dad.
Fight Like Me Dad as well. C'est la vie. Is it called
C'est la vie, yeah. That's the name of the song.
Say you will, say you won't, say you'll do what I don't, say you're true, say to me, get a life, say la vie. That makes no sense. Does that make any sense?
No, it doesn't make any sense to me.
Oh, good old 90s.
But it didn't have to because they were wearing double denim and they were jumping around and...
Was it true that Donna Eyre on The Big Breakfast, this won't mean anything to American listeners or anyone from anywhere apart from the UK, there was a breakfast show called The Big Breakfast and there was a presenter called Donna Eyre and apparently, I never saw it, but apparently she had Bewitched on and she asked them how they... No, it wasn't Bewitched, it was The Cause.
Okay.
And she asked them how they met.
Oh, yeah.
And obviously they're siblings.
They're all brothers and sisters, yeah.
And apparently that's true, but I don't know.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I didn't see the episode, but she was known... She did have a reputation for being a bit of an airhead, didn't she?
Yeah. Yeah, her nickname literally was Donna Airhead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was totally unrelated to Bewitched, but an Irish band.
You would expect
in there somewhere.
You would expect in an Irish bar, perhaps a live band, Irish band, playing, whether it be, fiddly dee.
But I'm not sad about that because I liked the guy that was in there.
Yes, absolutely. And I think we do have to mention their dancing.
Oh, the dancing was... I mean, again, his performance just so wooden. Honestly,
he was very wooden
dancing. He hasn't
dancing.
got an ounce of rhythm.
And the thing is, Natalie as well, though, she was really trying to give it some life again. She was even doing the robot at some point.
Oh, yes, she did start doing the robot.
Yeah.
Literally, was it just them two as well? Like, was there anyone else in that bar?
Well, there was someone behind Rod, but you could only kind of see the back of their head. You couldn't see them, and that made me think, actually, you couldn't see all of them because they weren't supposed to be in that scene. They were an actor for a different scene or something, and they just needed to look like there was another body there on the dance floor.
Yeah,
but this bar was empty.
Yeah.
And in all intents and purposes, they were the only people in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But good for them for getting up and dancing and showing the singer some support.
Yeah.
Even if they were doing the robot to some soul music.
I mean, I feel like the director just literally pushed them on and was like, okay, just dance.
Yeah.
It's a dancing scene. Which
is fine.
I believe, and I might be wrong here, that I don't know whether the Pulp Fiction dance scene was choreographed or whether that was just up to them to come up with something. I heard a rumour that was just, they kind of got up there and just did their own thing.
Actually have no
Obviously,
idea.
John Travolta was a dancer, wasn't he?
He was actually a dancer, was he, for Grease?
Sure.
No, not Grease.
Like when he was younger, I'm pretty sure he was. Oh, again, I have to look this up because some of these things that I say, I then question myself and go, "Do I make that up or is that true?"
Saturday Night Fever was. I mean, he did have to dance in it, so I can't imagine they would cast someone who couldn't dance. This isn't Footloose, for goodness' sake,
Well, he studied voice dancing and acting.
Okay, and I know when I studied acting, there was an element of dance in it, and I was actually in a couple of dance shows. I'll have you know.
I can't find a definite answer to this, but he's had dancing. He's had dancing coaching. He's definitely had it for.
I would just like to point out, listeners.
Saturday Night Fever.
I think Emma missed the fact that I was in some dance shows because otherwise she would have definitely have said something. She was far too engrossed looking up John Travolta.
I thought I'd skip over that. But if there is any video footage, I'd love to see it.
I'm afraid it's all long burnt. Yeah, sorry. I was in Dracula, a performance piece created by the dancers of Canterbury College. And I filled in for someone because they needed more men because there were only 2 men in the dance class and they needed a third. So there you go. And I had to throw someone around. But
you had to throw somebody
I had to throw someone around. Yeah, I had to like spin them around in my arms. It was great fun.
Oh, okay.
And they were like,
that sounds dangerous.
they were like, you're going to have to do this two-handed because, and I like, yeah, okay. And I spun them around one hand. And I was like, easy peasy. And like, oh, I didn't think you could do that. She was fine. She was absolutely fine. I don't think they realised I'd just come out of like 3 months of metal work at a factory. Anyway, we're getting very, very diverted from the storyline.
I think we're just avoiding talking about it.
We really are. They have this the second date, right?
Yes.
They're dancing in this Irish bar. They're having a great time, right? They end up going to a motel, all right? And I think they literally go to this motel, even though she's a famous Victoria's Secrets model now.
Yep.
He is. He's had £1 million sale. Also, this company's been sold. He's got his stock options mature or whatever, and he's rich from that. Yeah. We also missed a bit where there was kind of like a weird sort of Dragon's Den thing where he's pitching his
there is, isn't there?
cheaper alternative to solar panels.
Again, very.
And he gets $10 million investment.
He's got some sort of PowerPoint up on the
and it doesn't really say much apart from this. His solar panels are cheaper to produce.
Oh, that's what it is. Solar panels, yeah.
Yeah, cheaper to produce than normal solar panels. So
everyone can have
bringing solar panels to all of America, basically.
To the masses.
Yeah, and he gets an injection of $10 million for that. So they end up though in an absolute no-tell motel.
Well, this is the thing. So they have this ridiculously long date. So they've done they've been to I don't know how long they were at the festival for. Then they've gone to meet her mum, which, I'm sorry, but I'm not introducing people to my parents on the second date.
No.
It's a bit early days.
To be honest, I wouldn't want to be introduced to someone's parents on a second date. I'd understand if I was young and I was picking her up from her parents' house.
Yeah.
But she doesn't live with her parents.
So it's weird that she's taken him to meet her mum.
Yeah.
And then if you're that invested that you've taken someone to meet your mum and he already knows where you live because the first date you let him walk you home.
Yeah.
Why then at the end of the day, if you were going to sleep together, would you not just go back to her place?
Now, the only reason I think that we go back...
Because the motel's pretty grim, isn't it, they go to? It's not very nice. I'd rather be in my own house.
I think, though, the only reason that we go back to that... No, it's not. Because...
Or maybe it's a case of they've been drinking and they can't drive back to her place or something like that, or they drive to the motel.
See, I thought we were going back to Natalie's mum's house because that was who Tippi Hedren was playing. So Tippi Hedren's in this playing a character called Julie McNeil. And I don't recognise where she was in the film. Right? And Tippi Hedren, if you don't know, was in Alfred Hitchcock's The Birds.
Yes, you did.
Which I think is like a great kind of, like a great catch for people for them, to end up in this. Was she in The Birds? Yeah, I think she was in The Birds, wasn't she? She was in loads of she was in The Birds and Marnie and Roar and other things like that.
Was she not just maybe one of the women that gets killed later on? I don't know.
Maybe she was.
The bus?
Because there's another older lady as well who plays Natalie's mum. So that's what I thought.
Yeah, it's not her.
Is this why they've inserted Natalie's mum? Because this is who they're going to get Tippi Hedren to play. But no, it wasn't even that. So I've got no idea who Tippi Hedren was in the film. So even that doesn't make sense. It's very strange. It's very strange. She must have just
been one of the... Yeah, it looks like she's one of the women on the bus.
She's one of the women on the bus? Oh my God.
The main woman that... Yeah, I think she is. Is that not her there? Sorry, for the listeners, I'm just showing.
Oh, I don't... It might be, but I don't know. Does that woman look like she's in her... I don't know, what?
That's the only thing I can think, that she was on the bus. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, I really don't know. I thought that's what it was going to be, but it wasn't. And why else would you go back to the mum's house if for any reason then, if it wasn't to show off that you've got Tippi Hedren in the speaking part?
Literally, again, no point to that scene of them meeting the mum. The mum was just like, "Oh, I'm just really glad that Natalie's met a nice guy," and blah blah blah. And it's like, she's known him. She's been out with him twice. I mean, I know they went to school together, but it sounded like they hadn't seen each other for years, and then just met up again.
And like a lot can happen between school and being a bit of a grown up.
What kids are going to grow up to be nice adults, necessarily, because stuff happens in your life and things change. And just because he was a nice kid doesn't mean he's necessarily a nice adult.
I
But
was a right twat as a kid, and I've turned out all right. And for the
Anyway.
benefit of the listeners, Emma pulled a really weird face there, and I can't quite figure out what she meant by it.
don't worry. So it's weird. The whole thing of meeting the parents on a second date is bizarre.
Yeah,
And then she's
absolutely
sitting there
bizarre.
like they've been together for years. Like, oh, I'm so glad she's met somebody nice.
Can I just point out as well, we still haven't seen a single bird
this is still
in this movie yet.
Yeah, there's probably 45 minutes, isn't there, of no birds at all.
That's it.
Just this love story, basically.
But then it all changes, doesn't
But
it?
then they stay in the motel.
And they wake up to the sound of these birds. And I'm telling you now, that filmmaker is an idiot. Whoever decided that when these birds were on screen and attacking and made the same noise over and over
The noise
and
was
over again.
grating as well, wasn't it? It was so annoying. It went
It's
on
non-stop.
The dog was going mad because it was high pitched. It was just like, make it stop.
And it really needed to.
And we couldn't. And the thing was with this movie as well, we think it was shot on a camcorder, which younger listeners won't even know what that is. But like a home camcorder.
Yeah.
So the sound was shh, like constantly,
Yes, it
and then all of
was.
a sudden it would just cut. So when he's talking, you just get shh, all background noise, and then it just cuts off. The sound just cuts. So there's nothing, and then next time he talks, shh, it's awful. The sound
really
is
is.
awful. The camera work is awful because it's really shaky and all over the place.
Yeah.
It's such bad quality, and every time they spoke, I was like, "There's so much background noise. You can't really concentrate on what he's saying a lot of the time." And
No,
then you're
you
like,
can't.
"I want to turn it up," but then all I get is the background noise turned up. If I turned up the volume, we just got more of the background noise. So it was like, but that's not helping. I still can't hear what he's saying. So it was just the sound quality was awful.
Yeah, it really,
It was really
is.
annoying me towards the end because I was just like, oh, just
And look, I know they made things on an absolute shoestring budget. I know, right?
this was what
But if you
2010
can,
was
but
it?
if you can have CGI birds in a movie, you can afford some form of mic,
Yeah,
you know, to pick up the actors' voices better than
Yeah,
the
it was awful.
like just like a directional mic that picks up all the sound in front
yeah,
of
it
it.
picked up everything. It wasn't filtering out anything, was it? It was just, it literally was shh.
Or even, you know, just, you know, film it and be like, actually, we couldn't catch a word that they were saying,
Add it
so
on after.
let's just dub it in after.
Yeah, which would have looked, I mean, it would have been funny.
It would have been funny, but
It would have looked awful, but it would have...
at least it would have sounded
sound
better,
quality
and you'd have been
would
able to
better.
hear what they were saying
Yeah, because
properly.
there were moments when I thought I didn't catch what he said then.
No, not at all. Absolutely. So the birds attack. Now the birds are insane. We'll talk about the CGI of the birds.
They look out the window and see the birds.
Yes.
Are they birds by the car, or do they walk back to the car and then the birds are sort of...
No, they're just in the hotel room. So they've had their fun time,
Yeah.
and it's whatever happens in a motel. I don't know.
I mean, the first date she was like, I'm not that kind of girl. And then second date, yeah, you're in there.
That's it. But then
It's literally
again,
like, you didn't hold out for long,
but then
did
he
you?
did take her to a pumpkin fair and an Irish bar.
Oh yeah, I guess that date, well, no, I think you said to me, yeah, but that date was like 3 months.
Yeah.
So he's done the work. he's put in the hours.
He's put in the hours. Yeah. You know, now he deserves.
Yeah.
Now he deserves.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, imagine after that date you'd be exhausted anyway and just want to go to sleep.
It wasn't a day. It was 3 months, Emma. Come on. They'd been missing for that long.
Yeah.
They didn't actually. There were no actual bird attack. It was just a fever dream
yeah.
because they hadn't eaten anything other than the meal at the Irish bar
Yeah.
3 months previous, and maybe a bit of pumpkin left over. So the birds attack, right? And and they're also supposed to be going to meet their friends, Rick. They're supposed to go and meet Rick and his girlfriend.
Yeah, we see Rick and his girlfriend, and it's clearly shot in the same room
The same
as
room,
the
yeah.
motel room.
Yeah.
That was a pointless scene as well, wasn't it? Because they were sort of getting it on.
Yeah, it was them sorting out a double date.
But it looked like, so when they first went to this scene,
Yeah.
it looked like they were in some sort of massage parlour or something, because there was a sign on the wall.
Saying
But
give
weather
peace a
dress on
chance. Yeah, www.givepeaceachance.
What's going on here?
Yep.
And then it was like, no, they're actually a couple and they're just in bed together.
Yeah.
But I don't know whether they meant to have that sign up on the wall or what.
It was
If
very
it was meant
strange.
to be their bedroom or.
And this is
weird.
what's leading me up to what's really weird, right? So they were supposed to be going on a double date with Rick, Rod's
Yeah.
friend, and his girlfriend, who just so happened to be Natalie's friend as well.
Yes.
And that's how the double date was being arranged. But they never actually get together because they do their first date, I think, and then they were supposed to meet Rick and I don't think we ever get her name.
I don't think we get her name.
I don't think we ever get her name. So they meet up in this. They're in this motel, and the birds attack, and they put and the birds are kind of like cracking at the window to get in. So they put the mattress up against the window and wear it out until the birds go away. The birds do this a lot. They turn up, attack a bit, and then they just fly away again. I don't understand. Like they're the most plot convenient birds in the world. It's amazing. Who would have thought it? So they leave the motel room and they go past a load of motel rooms and then they knock on some random door and they're like, oh, we need help. And it's opened up by two random strangers.
Yeah, another couple.
One called Ramsey and one called Becky.
Yeah.
Right? A man and a woman that could easily just have been their two friends in the same motel.
Yeah.
And maybe that was the meeting point. Maybe they'd been out on the date together and they all went back to the motel to stay before they went on further for their journey. Who knows? Why did they have to introduce two completely different people? I don't get it.
There was, just more people to kill, I guess.
I suppose.
There wasn't a lot of sense to it. It was just kind of, there's just some extra characters. Because at one point, I think I'd sort of glazed over in the 45 minutes that nothing was happening. And I thought that was their friends.
Yeah.
I was like, that's not the woman that he was in the bedroom with earlier, and you were like, no, it's someone else. And then it was only later on that I was like, oh, it's a different couple.
Actually, it's a different couple.
It's not even his friend, it's just a different couple. But like you say, it was pointless.
And something really weird happens. Rick says, we've got to get out of here, but somehow I've lost my car keys. You're in a motel room, mate.
Yeah.
How hard is it to continue looking for your car keys until you find them? You drove to the motel.
Yeah, and there's not going to be a lot in a motel room.
For you to have lost your car keys.
Yeah, like you can find them again.
And if you lost them between your car and the motel room, they ain't going to be far, are they?
No.
So they all get into the motel room that this Ramsey and this Becky are in, and they're like, oh, we're going to have to find something to defend ourselves from these birds.
Yes.
So they grab the coat hangers.
Oh, yes. I mean, what the hell is that going to do?
And then there's just this absolutely terrible scene of them going to Ramsey and Becky's van and holding these coat hangers and swiping at CGI birds.
Oh, the CGI birds as well are just awful.
But nobody told Ramsey. I don't think anybody told Ramsey it was birds because Rod, Natalie and this Becky woman, they're all swiping at the air. And Rod's swiping at the air and then I see him take some swipes at the ground. It's like, what is it?
Oh, well, maybe they were meant to CGI a bird that he'd like caught and then gone to the floor. I don't know.
But I also think it was just another factor, like maybe the actor was like, oh, I'm sick of swiping at the air. Maybe I'll just do a couple down here.
Maybe his arm was aching.
I need to lower this down a bit.
Also, they weren't swiping them because the birds weren't anywhere near where they were swiping.
Right.
But also, what is that going to do to a bird? And B, the birds didn't actually attack them. The birds just hovered and then nothing. And then went again, didn't they?
Yeah, because the birds couldn't do anything other than hover because they just... I was talking about this movie to my daughter Catherine earlier, and it was like, you know when like you see like one of those moving images on an Instagram story or something?
Yeah.
It was like that.
Yeah.
It just did the same thing.
Yeah, the wings
over
just went
and
up
over
and down
again.
in a really weird angle.
They couldn't move. They couldn't do anything. That was it.
And there was one particular bird that had its legs down, so it was in flight.
Yes.
But it had its
was
legs down.
side on, wasn't
weird.
it?
Yeah, it looked really odd. And then one of them, its wings were like right bent over, which looked really bizarre as well. So yeah, it was obviously just the same CGI
really bizarre.
every time we saw them,
Yeah.
because it was the same group of birds doing the same thing. And like you
Yeah.
say, it was. And sometimes they weren't even flapping their wings. Sometimes they were just in the air, hovering.
That's
and
right.
there was no wings moving, and you're like, can birds do that? I think they need to move a little bit to stay in the air, don't they?
There are, birds of prey that will
They can glide, but they've got to
hover
be in
and
flight,
do that
haven't
sort
they?
of thing.
But these were still.
They were just still. You
It's
could
like
tell they were
treading
just
water. You
still.
can't just sit in the pool.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to sink if you don't move. So that's the same, isn't it, with flight? Like if they just hovered above your head, they'd have to move. They
There
wouldn't
would be
still.
natural movement with the air.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But here
But there were points where they were just
still.
dead still, and then every now and then it would kick in and you see the wings flap again.
Yeah.
But it was ridiculous. But yeah, I don't know what they thought they were going to achieve with coat hangers. And the birds just didn't do anything. So it's like, what's the point?
What were they going to achieve with coat hangers, especially when they get eventually into Ramsey's van?
Which is like the A-team van.
Yeah, it was the A-team van. They pull out a bloody automatic rifle.
Yeah.
And another gun, and I mean, I don't know how much ammo they've got, but they're driving along.
Well, they do run out at one point on one of the guns, don't they? He runs out of bullets at one point.
Oh, is that in the hat? Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, is it? Okay. Yeah. So that maybe he should have been a bit more conservative with his ammo, because I mean they leave the motel and they're driving along, and might I add, they're driving along in normal traffic because clearly they don't have permits to close roads.
No.
Just pick a quiet road.
Yeah.
They're driving down this road in normal traffic, cars driving past them, and they're hanging out firing these weapons.
Yeah.
They must have had so much police called on them.
Yeah.
It's
that's
madness.
true, isn't it? Because they've got like these fake guns and they're hanging out windows.
Hanging out windows, firing away, pointing at birds that are randomly in the sky. It's just...
And you have to get permission to use certain locations, don't you?
Yeah, you do,
movies,
And they didn't have permission for a lot of the places they were filming, so they just had to kind of like go in and go with it.
Get it done, and then
it was very odd, very odd. But I mean, and then there are scenes where they're running along, shooting away at birds on the ground. Like they go to a garage to get some. Oh no, I'm sorry. Before they go to the garage to get some food, Rod says, "Oh, there's a lot of dead people on the road there," and they pull over to their cars.
Yes.
And I think the birds actually stopped the kidnapping here.
Oh, okay.
Because there's a lot of dead people in their cars, but also they find Rick, Rod's friend.
Yeah.
I get so confused because Rod, Rick and Ramsey.
Yeah.
But they find Rick, his friend, and her girlfriend dead from a bird attack. They've had their throats slit by birds while sitting in their cars.
Yeah.
So they're dead. But again, you were right. They've just got this extra couple in to have some dead people. Well, why not just have random dead people?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's very strange. It's very strange. But also there, they find a child hiding under a car.
Yep.
And they also go to another car, open up the boot of the car, and there's a kid in the boot of the car.
Yeah.
And I thought, was that kid being kidnapped?
It's either a kidnap or the parents, before they died, tried to protect him by
putting him in the boot. Never to be found.
And yes, they could just die in the boot rather than the birds mauling him.
Just do your windows up and drive away. The birds ain't catching up with you. Come on.
Yeah. Yeah, good point about doing the windows up. Yeah.
You know? Because everyone that was dead, their windows were down. They weren't smashed in.
And I think we'll probably talk about it later when we talk about deaths, but so these birds, I think we talked about it in the synopsis.
Yeah.
When you said to me Birdemic, I just assumed, okay, there's these crazy birds that are, they've got claws and they've got beaks. So they're ripping.
And there's enough birds in a flock to hurt someone.
If a bird gets their claws and their beak into you, it's going to do some damage.
One bird, you might fight it off. 400?
Yeah.
No.
So I assumed that's what they were doing, but then they were attacking with acid. But at no point in this movie did we understand where the acid came from, because you didn't see it.
You just saw
spit the acid, so I can only assume they were spitting acid. I don't know.
I can only imagine.
But they weren't, because some deaths they were slashing people's throats and faces, obviously with their claws and beaks. Mm-hmm. And other deaths where they were using the acid.
No, there was only one lot of deaths. I mean, it was a lot of people. So, the movie goes on a little bit, and a few odd little things happen. They stop to get food, and they sit at a park bench and they eat food.
They go and
They're
get fuel
attacked by birds. They run away. Yeah, they go and get fuel.
And then that guy tries to steal it off them.
But that's so the kids are hungry. They get the kids food. They go to a park. They eat some food. The birds attack. They get back in the car. They drive off.
They go to the beach, don't they, and fry a fish.
Yeah, they go to the beach, catch a fish, fry a fish.
For what seems like ages. He goes and catches a fish, and she gets some seaweed, and they cook it up,
And the kid's like, we're
And
not
they're
eating
playing
that.
ball, and then the kids are like, this is disgusting, and they go and get food from the shop, don't they?
No, that's
But they don't.
yeah, no, they don't go get. They've already had the food from the shop.
Oh, okay.
What happens is the woman the woman that they're with goes to the toilet and is attacked by a bird and is killed.
Yeah.
Natalie runs, going, the birds are here, they're attacking, and they run, and they get in the car and they drive off, and then the next thing is Ramsey sees a double-decker bus, a British double-decker bus full of people being attacked by birds, and that's when he's like, I'm not leaving people behind, and Rod's like, we gotta go, we can't stop.
Yeah.
And I think that's because that's when they're out of bullets on the machine gun, and they rush into the bus. They save the people. They go into the bus and they're like, "You got to come with us." And they're like, "No, we can't come with you. The birds will kill us." But they convince them to leave.
Yeah.
And literally within seconds, that's when the birds come swooping down, and then all of a sudden you just see like a bucket of acid just spread over Ramsey, the people from the bus, and then they all kind of burn and die. And that's the only time you see acid.
Yeah. But also, you just saying about, if there's 400 birds, there were about 10. There wasn't 400 birds.
No, there wasn't.
Every time we saw these birds, it was the same CGI clip.
Yeah.
And there were maybe 10 birds there every time. So it wasn't even... And don't forget, they were shooting constantly.
Oh, yeah, they were
shot
taking...
a few dead that fell down to the ground.
That they were.
So there was never, like, hundreds of these things.
That's right.
Covering the sky. It was only a little group of them every
just
single
small
time.
handful.
Sometimes they wouldn't even attack, they would just fly back off.
Yeah, they just float in the air and then they'd fly away.
Yeah.
It never made any sense.
No.
And you know one thing that we never got?
What?
Animal vision.
Oh, we didn't get that in this movie.
We didn't get a bird's eye view.
No, it's got to be marked down for that.
It's got to be marked
Bird's
down.
eye view, literally.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah.
We didn't have animal vision in this one.
No, we have every other one, haven't we?
Everyone so far. This one's let us down.
That's disappointing.
In more ways than one. So, like, the people that they kind of left the motel with first, they're dead now. They've still got the kids in tow.
Yeah, they've still got the kids. But the kids, and aren't the kids at one point like, I'm hungry? And I was like, oh, bloody kids, you're in the middle of a, crisis. And don't shut up about being hungry.
But also, there's a lot of dead birds. Why not just, you've shot a bird, why not pick it up, cook it, roast Birdemic.
Yeah, but what if you eat the acid that's in their bodies and that kills you? Would it be poisonous?
Or would it be venomous?
I don't know.
I think it's
if
just
you eat
acidic.
it's poisonous because you've ingested it.
Oh yeah, you've ingested it, yeah. Venom has to be, I'm wearing the glasses again, venom has to be injected. But yeah, there's a weird scene where they end up in the forest and they meet a guy who's a bit of a tree hugger who lives in the forest.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that scene.
But it's a completely pointless scene.
Yeah, totally.
Because then he's like, oh, I think I hear a mountain lion.
And he's got the worst wig I've ever seen.
It's dreadful. But there's no other reason than just finding a guy who hasn't been bothered by birds because he lives with nature.
Yeah, and then he's like, I hear a mountain lion.
And he goes and runs up his tree house, and then they all have this weird scene where they're all running to the car to get away from the mountain lion.
No, it's because the forest is on fire. Don't you remember the CGI?
Oh yeah, the forest is on fire. But the forest is on fire, isn't it because the birds are dive bombing? So this is one thing we haven't mentioned, is the birds dive bomb things and they blow up.
Oh yeah.
And is that why they've well, I mean, but is that why the forest is on fire?
Maybe, yeah.
Oh no, there is a forest fire. That's one of the things. There is a forest fire going on as well. So they encounter the forest fire.
But this forest fire, okay, so whenever I've seen forest fires on, say, the news, it goes, doesn't it? Like the fire spreads it's in seconds.
It's like a line of moving flame.
It just goes. Obviously, wood is brilliant for fires, isn't it? Like it's just going to burn through. So, but this is like literally little dots of fire here and there. It's like a little tiny fire here, little tiny fire.
Do you know the reason
there?
I thought it was the birds dive bombing and exploding?
Because of
it's
that.
Because it's the same CGI. It's the same CGI fire that they use when you see a bird dive bomb a car and an explosion.
So it's literally like one little patch of fire and then a few trees down, another little patch of fire. It's not like a forest fire.
No.
So yeah, another brilliant piece of CGI.
It gives the impression of a forest fire.
you kind of, they're running out of the forest and you kind of know what's going on, but it's not in any way, shape or form convincing or true to life.
Now, they end up again in like another sort of nature reserve or something like that. and they're kind of hiding out, and they meet an old guy on a bridge, and they just go, oh, there's an
Oh,
old man on the
yes.
bridge, and they're like, oh, have you not seen what's happening? The birds are attacking and things like that, and he's like, oh, I don't see that.
Yeah.
He had no idea that the birds were attacking or anything.
Oh, he's looking at a dead bird on the
Yeah,
ground.
he's looking at a dead
Yeah.
bird, and he's talking about them having been affected by something. To be honest, I'd switched off.
Yeah.
Like, it was making
Oh,
the
bird
birds
flu.
go.
He says they've got bird flu.
Oh, it was bird flu.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, bird flu, making them go crazy and do
yeah.
weird things.
They've got bird flu, and that's
And
what's
they
wrong with
tell them, but they were attacking
like, no,
people. And
they
it's
were
like, oh,
attacking
that
people.
shouldn't happen. Well, it is. It's happened.
He's not overly concerned, is he?
He's really not. And I don't even know what happens next because they're in the van, aren't they? And the birds are attacking, and you look like where have they got to go? They've got nothing to save themselves. They're gonna die. They don't have bullets anymore.
Yeah.
They've got nothing to fight off the birds with that acid, and then the birds just leave.
The ending of it. So this
Yeah.
is the ending. They're on a beach somewhere, aren't they?
Yeah,
Or
they're on.
by a lake
Yeah,
or
they're
something?
like some nature reserve thing. It looks like
It might be a
onto a
massive
beach or
lake,
something,
yeah, or a
or a
beach.
big lake. Yeah.
So it is literally like, I think I said this when we were watching it. You know the scene in Forrest Gump where he runs for 3 years
Yeah.
and he just stops at one point and he goes, I'm pretty tired now. I think I'll go home. It was literally like the birds just went, pretty tired, I'll go home.
Yeah.
They literally just stopped what they were doing and you saw them fly away into the distance. But I also said to you,
Go on.
this hasn't solved the problem. They haven't got rid of the birds.
Yeah.
These birds are still just flying around, can attack at any time.
Yeah.
So it's not the end of the movie.
They're
Because
still there.
what happened to the birds? The acid-throwing birds? Where
Well,
are
maybe
they now?
we'll find out in Birdemic 2, or
please
Birdemic
no.
3,
Please
or
no.
Birdemic 4 that's coming out next year.
Is there actually 4 of them?
I'm kind of hoping that Birdemic 4 is going to be affected by the writer and actor strike, but I don't think it will be.
No.
Because I don't think they're a SAG-AFTRA or a WGA writer. And,
I think it'll probably go ahead, unfortunately, but I can't see how they can stretch 4 movies out of this.
I think the trouble is, though, we're going to have to end up watching them. Sorry.
Got time to resign from the podcast. But the couple, so it's Rick and not Rick. It's not Rick. It's Rod and Natalie.
Yeah.
And the 2 kids. They've
Yeah.
now obviously adopted and they're their kids. I guess they're going to have to raise them.
Why not?
Didn't think that through, did they, when they rescued them?
Yeah, but at least she doesn't have children. She doesn't actually have to go through childbirth.
Yeah, true.
She now has 2
And
fully
they're
grown
like,
children.
What are they, 10 and 8
Yeah.
or something? They're quite
Easy.
easier ages,
Yeah,
aren't they? Anyway,
infuriating.
they're sort of all looking like happy and relieved, like, yes, it's all over. It's not over. These birds are still there. They're just flown somewhere else. They'll come back later.
But you know what the worst thing about it is? Not even that.
What?
We spend the next 5-10 minutes just watching them watch the sea.
I know.
And
Again,
like,
5 minutes filler that just did not need to be there.
and then that happens through the credits as well. There must have been like, can you 4 people just stand on the beach for 5 hours and we'll film it and then we'll just use some of this? You know, anyway, the movie ends.
Thank God.
Thank God.
Movie ends.
Now,
It was pretty unbearable.
I think we're going to have to get into. Can you believe we've actually a movie where not a lot happens? We've actually spent an hour talking about nothing happening in it.
Yeah.
It's madness. Right, shall we talk about our categories? Because
Yes.
we've spoken about the synopsis long enough. Now, I don't think there was anything bad for stunts or accent.
There wasn't any stunts, but there was a bad accent in the diner. The woman who worked in the diner.
The thing is, was that a bad accent or was that her actual accent?
I don't. It
And we
didn't
just
sound
couldn't
like
place
a
it.
genuine accent, did it?
I'm not sure, and I don't. And it's, I
okay.
don't know if it's because I didn't recognise the accent and where it might be from. I know it's definitely Eastern European accent,
Yeah.
but whereabouts?
Oh, okay.
Was it like Poland? Was it like Romania, Hungary? We're heading on towards
Okay.
Russia. I really honestly couldn't say.
So yeah, apart from her, they were all American.
But
There was no-
but it was literally, what can I get you, or something
Yeah.
like that, wasn't it? That you just heard. So
Yeah.
I don't. I know we both kind of looked at each other. Oh, bad, because I didn't write it down. But yeah, I remember it, and I just remember thinking, and actually, sorry, saying to you at the time, was that a bad accent? I don't know.
We also haven't got any costume
No.
because they were. it
Well,
was kind of,
I do.
Oh,
I
you
do
do?
have
Oh,
a bad
okay.
costume. So the director of this movie sounds quite a whack job.
Okay.
Like there was a moment. There's like if you read the trivia, because you know I was bored in the film. I don't normally read the trivia of these movies, right? But the director does sound like a bit of a strangey. The lead actress who played Natalie, right? No, so they didn't have permission to film in a lot of places. And one of the scenes they're filming is on like a nature trail or like a running trail that people use.
Yeah.
And because these people were using the trail, because it wasn't shut off, there was no permit to be used, the director was like shouting at them. And the lead actress is reportedly to have said, you can't just shout at people for using this place.
Yeah.
So they're like, he apparently got really annoyed at her and didn't talk to her for about 3 weeks.
Oh, yeah, I think you said this.
He would use Rod, Rod's actor, as a go-between to give her directions. What happens in that?
That's crazy.
How does that happen? But he that's one weird thing. But another weird thing is this, right? Let me find the actual quote because it's so insane, right? Oh, what happened? What happened? Oh yeah. So while filming the respective love scenes, okay, Whitney Moore, Natalie, and Mona Lisa Moon, who played May, who was Rick's girlfriend, they wear bikinis.
Yeah.
James Nguyen purportedly had the actresses wear bikinis as he did not want them to actually have sex with their male co-stars.
Yeah, and this is what I said to you, that I was under the impression that didn't happen in movies.
I mean,
it's pornographic, surely.
Yeah, but there are some movies where there has been, like, full-on sex.
But that's
happened.
not mainstream, like...
They have been mainstream movies. There was a Lars von Trier movie called Nymphomaniac, where they had sex. Never seen it, but there was it was Charlotte Gainsbourg was the actress in it, but there were some scenes where her face was CGI'd onto porn actresses, and they actually had full penetrative sex in the movie. It's in 2 parts, but like in both parts of the movie, there is like full on sexual acts happening.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that happens. There are loads of other films where there is these things happen, but only if you want them to. And
yeah, surely that's got to be a massive part of the
contracted
contract.
And
you know, are you willing to have sex in this movie?
Exactly, and this is something that's going to happen.
I thought it was the old, nude underwear, and you just simulate sex, but it's not actually happening.
But that's what you do, and I don't think James Nguyen can understand that. Actors don't actually have sex generally.
Yeah.
When they're making
they act
sex
like
scenes.
They're having sex. Yeah.
Yeah. So the fact that you're making them wear a bikini so that nothing accidentally happens, or like, do you think the actors are going to be like, you know what, I'm really turned on doing this scene, so let's just actually do it? Yeah. I don't think that happens. No one's just suddenly going to go, you know what, let's actually just have sex in front of strangers.
Yeah.
For a movie.
Yeah.
And
also, you don't need in a movie, if there is a sex scene and it's important to the plot.
Yeah.
You don't need to see actual sex. You just need to get the idea of, okay, they're going to have sex now. That's all the viewer needs. The viewer doesn't need, oh, hold on, what are they doing? You don't need to see full-on sex to know, okay, they're in bed having sex. Like, it's so pointless.
Yeah, you're right. Absolutely.
It would be pointless to...
I'm really sorry. I accidentally turned off my mic. I was trying to mute it because I need to cough. I'm back. Okay. Sorry about that.
That's
okay.
Yeah, it's...
You don't.
You don't need to... You just need to give the audience the impression of what's happening.
It's an absolute nonsense.
Like we said earlier, with the driving somewhere for 5 minutes, walking somewhere. If someone just arrives at a building and you see where they are, that's all you need in a movie. Okay, they've arrived at work. They've arrived here or there. Like, I don't need to see the full drive to work. I just need to see them at home and then arriving at work.
Yeah. It's really, really crazy. It just screams to me someone who's, I think, just... I don't know, just separated from like the real world.
Yeah.
It's
an odd thing to say, isn't it? Like, they've got to wear bikinis so they don't actually have sex. I mean, yeah, weird, bizarre. So that was your bad costume. Yeah. Other than that, it was pretty standard, just ordinary clothes, wasn't it? There wasn't any
exactly. And it is literally just a bad costume because of the madness around having to wear that just in case you decide that you're going to have sex with your co-star.
Yeah,
it's utterly insane. So yeah, we can instantly discount stunts, costume, accent.
Yeah,
really, and that leaves us with special effects and death.
But I think we can talk about music, and we can talk
music,
about
definitely. But
lines,
but
maybe?
it's good music.
Yeah, I liked the music in the old
Yeah,
as well.
but we're talking about the bad stuff.
Oh, we are talking about
We
the
are
bad
talking
stuff.
about the bad
Oh no,
stuff.
I have got bad as well.
There is a bit of bad music.
Yeah, there is a bit of
Do you
bad
want
music.
to talk about it now?
The only bad music that I've got is, and I don't know if this was on the date or not, the long date that they had.
I think it was on the long date.
At one point, they put this music over that, so you're just seeing sort of them wandering around and having their date, and they play this music, and again, probably nobody outside the UK is going to know what this is, but the old Hovis adverts, so the Hovis bread adverts, it's like the concept of them was a really old-fashioned, like, little village, and there's a boy on his bike, isn't there? And he's riding down to get the bread from the little local shop, and it's like this. I can't really explain. It's like how does it go? It's like
no.
It's kind of like.
Oh, why did the Hovis?
It's kind of like that, but it's like a trumpety kind of. It's kind of like that. Yeah, it's kind of that, isn't it? And they played something similar to that at one point. And I was like, this doesn't go with the.
Emma is actually quite amazed at my impersonation of a trumpet, but she's remaining professional and not mentioning it to get on with the podcast.
Yes, that's why.
That's why. Did you? I even did the finger.
You did,
the finger
I
movements.
was thinking they can't see you, David.
I need to do them to do the sound.
Maybe we need to take some video because we do some impressions and stuff sometimes. It's like they can't see us. Yeah, it was like that though, wasn't it? It didn't go with the scene at all. It was so random to just throw in that sort of music on a date scene.
It was so bizarre. So bizarre indeed.
So that's all I had, and then I did have good music as well, but I can't talk about that now.
Yeah. Well, do you want to throw in the other wild card there and talk about some bad lines?
Yeah, so I didn't actually write any lines down, but I know you did.
Yeah. So there's quite a few. There's quite a few really bad ones, right? Now the first one is this TV anchor, right, that was going on about in the news about the polar bears.
Oh, the newsreader. By the way, she just seemed angry. I think she was trying to come across as serious. I'm a newsreader, I'm serious, but she seemed pissed off. Every time they shot to her, I was like, what's this woman's problem? She's like,
the thing is,
in the mood.
I think she's just sick and tired of like commenting on news, which is just bad news for the environment. Maybe she's a bird in disguise. Maybe, you never know. But she's going on about the polar bears, right, and there's like, and the way she says it as well, and many have died from starvation due to the difficulty of finding enough food, such as seals. It was the such as seals added on at the end. It's like, I think we know some of the stuff that polar bears eat.
Yeah,
like
we don't need specific. Them dying of starvation is enough. I don't need to know what their diet is normally.
Difficulty finding enough food, such as seals. Oh, I thought they ate plants.
Yeah,
there's not many plants up in the Arctic, is there?
There isn't. That's why they're starving to death.
Oh, just they're those polar bears licking away at lichen just to satisfy their hunger. Yeah, that was really, really insane. And then in one of the scenes where you had Rick and who I just found out is called May, the friends, that they were gonna go on this double date with. When Natalie calls her friend May to arrange this double date, she's in a bikini with Rick.
Yeah.
So clearly they're about to have full-on sex.
Yeah.
Because she's in a bikini. So there must be sex happening.
There's a risk of that if you're in a bikini.
And then Rick says, when she's hung up the phone and they're going to get down to it, he says, man, this is going to be fun.
That's what
but really deadpan.
Yeah.
Do you mean this?
Yeah.
Are you joking?
Are you being sarcastic?
Do we need to have a conversation here, Rick? What's happening here? And I think he's maybe thinking, oh, what you actually translate, man, this is going to be fun into is, you're not Rod.
Yeah.
Or you don't have a rod.
I think you've got a point there.
Oh dear. Oh, and another one that I thought was amazing. Okay, amazingly bad, terrible. All these lines are bad, right? So the couple that they meet in the motel, Ramsey and Becky, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, it couldn't be Rick and May that they meet because Rick is anti-war, but then because he's all about giving peace a chance, right?
Okay.
But
Oh, is that where they've got the poster up in his what's meant to be his bedroom or motel
I'm guessing
room?
it must be his bedroom because it's like.
But it is definitely the same room as the motel room later on.
Yes, absolutely. Now, the people that they meet, Ramsey and Becky, they've got guns in their van. So you'd think, the fact that they've got them just lying around in their van might make you think they're not particularly responsible gun owners.
It is America.
You just like find guns 10 a penny just lying around, don't they?
I know.
You can't. It's
Can't
like
move for guns out there.
yeah, it's like when they find like the panic of like dirty needles found in a child's playground. In America, it's a Glock 9 found in a child's playground.
Honestly.
American listeners, we know it's not actually like that.
No,
there are responsible gun owners in the world, but
not in this movie.
in this movie, they are not responsible gun owners. However, Ramsey says something that just makes me think that he's not like
What does he say? I can't remember
actually
this.
someone who would normally be a gun owner in America. Because not everybody owns a gun in America.
Yeah.
But he says, I'm just tired of all the fucking killing in Iraq. Why can't we just give peace a chance? What's going on? What's that?
Why does he say that?
I know that, this is 2010 and American troops were still in Iraq. I say Iraq because that's how it was pronounced in the film. I'm sick and tired of all this fucking killing in Iraq. But I know American soldiers were still in Iraq at the time, and obviously there was still a lot of shit going down there. But it just seems so weird for him to say that line.
Yeah.
So weird for him to say it.
Pretty random.
It really is random. It's just so crazy. But yeah, I just some of those lines are just dreadful.
Yeah.
I don't think I had anything else.
Okay.
Yeah. Pretty terrible lines. Obviously you've got Rod and his date. That's awful. But we've covered that.
That was more, not necessarily.
That was more the acting.
It was everything. It was the acting and the lines, wasn't it?
Because you could have those lines as a character, and just be like, oh, you're really just focused on your work. Maybe you aren't date material. That could be a character trait.
Just give it some
like
character. If he's an arrogant prick, he's an arrogant prick. But at least he's a character. Rod was just nothing. He was just so bland and boring.
Oh my God. I just looked up a quote on IMDb because there was something about, when on their first date and he says about his stock options and then they're talking about who their ideal partner is. And she asks him in the restaurant and he's like, oh, someone down to earth, someone funny, someone loyal, etc. But then later when they're walking after the date and walking her home, he asks her what her ideal man is.
Yeah.
But I remember this because it was so weird. So Rod says to Natalie, the sea is so beautiful. Natalie, yes it is. Rod, all life came from the sea. Look at us. We're made of water. So what? So what is your ideal man?
That just naturally flows on. What a weird thing to say.
But then Natalie then replies, well, for one thing, he has to have a lot of stock options invested.
Yeah.
Which is like, she was saying it as a joke.
Yeah.
Right? And she does mention that later in the film that was a joke.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh yeah, I know. And then, because then he's like, well, at least you're honest. It's like, he's like...
Doesn't she also say...
at least you're after my money.
Other things about, what she's looking for.
Yeah, she does.
If he's got those qualities. It's like, this
and he
guy's
doesn't
got
have
none of these qualities.
None of these qualities,
He is the most boring man on the planet.
But those two things really made me laugh.
Yeah.
Like, the way he changed from this thing, like, we're all made of water. Yeah, fine. Yeah. We have got, a lot of water in our composition. But...
What a weird thing to say on a date.
And yes, all life did come from the sea. But billions of years after, that's how we've got here. So what's your ideal man? What? You've had this real sort of...
Yeah, how did you get there from where you just were?
Well, I'd actually like to think that my ideal man is back 300 million years ago.
My ideal man is mainly water.
Yeah. 300 million years ago in an early
In
primate.
fact, I'll just have a glass of water, it'll be easier, less stress.
And you're more hydrated by the end of
Exactly.
it. That's it, absolutely. Don't have a man,
I
have
definitely
a glass of
haven't got
water.
a headache now.
Anyway, that was my lines. That was the terrible, terrible lines that I
Yeah.
found in the film. Dreadful, dreadful. Right, so that leads us to the last two of our actual topics, special effects and death. Now, I think we've definitely got more to talk about with special effects.
Yeah, special effects was
So
pretty bad.
do you want to talk about the worst death in the film for you?
The worst death for me was, well, and I'd also like to just say, we don't see the deaths.
No.
I don't think there's a single one that we actually see.
No, we don't.
So, like I said earlier, these birds are either clawing at people, well, I imagine they're using their claws. So people either have like slit throats or like scratches on their faces,
Yeah.
or quite bad wounds on their faces.
Aye.
Or we have the one attack with the acid where it is literally like they've thrown a bucket of acid over. I don't know where this acid has come from.
It's just there.
And there's the female friend, well, the woman that, did you say she's called May, the one in the
Yes.
motel? They're some sort of desert or beach or some sort of barren
It's
land.
weird,
I don't know
yeah.
where it is. And she goes for a wee, and then Natalie goes to look for
Oh
her.
no, this is Becky.
Oh, is this Becky?
This is Ramsey and Becky, the people from the motel.
Oh yeah.
She's
Sorry,
got-
yeah,
she's-
that's what I
yeah,
meant.
yeah.
So the people from the motel. So she goes off for a wee, and then Natalie goes to look for her, and so this bird just sort of hovers over her, does nothing. You don't see it scratch her or anything, and then she's laying there dead with a slit throat.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you're gonna have a horror movie, we need to see some of the horror.
Yeah.
Not just, we've had other movies like this where it's like, okay, there's an indication that something's going to happen and then you just see a dead body. That's not what we're looking for as horror fans. Like, if we're looking for bad horror movies, we're looking for, give us some gory deaths that we can, like, actually see.
Yeah, quite bloody right.
So, yeah, it was just the way she was just laying there with a slit throat and you're like, well, yeah, I can work out what happened, but
Yeah.
we should have seen what's happened. But then obviously with the CGI being so awful,
Yeah.
but there was loads of deaths like that. There was loads of, every death pretty much was a bad death because it was just, we saw a lot of dead bodies around the road, didn't we, at one point?
Yes.
There was just all like slit throats and,
Yeah.
like I say, like wounds on their faces and stuff. Although I think you say there was only that one acid attack. I think there were some dead people with like burnt faces.
And
as
maybe
if
we hadn't seen
hadn't
the
seen
acid
it,
kill.
but we'd
yeah.
seen them with like sort of
Yeah, that's a
burnt
fair
or
point.
melted kind of faces.
Maybe that had happened as well,
So-
but yeah.
it was a mixture of, I'm going to claw you to death, or I'm going to throw acid or
Belch
spit acid,
acid?
or whatever.
Belch acid?
They
Or
must have been spitting it, surely. I don't know.
I don't think like we thought in the intro there that
No,
they were like
dug under their
a
wing.
jug of acid. That would have been amazing though.
And then, like you said, they would have flown in circles because they'd only got one wing to use, or like a little bag around their neck or something. I don't know.
Now, I'm gonna shock you here, but you know what I thought the worst death was?
What?
And we've mentioned the deaths of a lot of people,
Yeah.
but what we haven't mentioned is when the birds themselves die.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they're pretty awful as well.
So when the birds are flying in, they're not
Yeah.
flying in. The
Just
image
sort
is
of
just
hovering
getting closer to us of the
Yeah.
birds. The
It
gif.
is literally just a gif.
It's like a
Yeah,
gif
it
of
is
the
a
birds,
gif.
isn't it?
It's like, yeah.
Or a boomerang of a bird flapping. You know?
Yeah, it is literally just cut out. They look like they've been cut out
Yeah.
from an image, and then like a GIF, like an animated GIF.
So do you know what is really like hilariously bad is like, you know, they're firing up at these birds and occasionally they hit one, but
Yeah.
when they do, like the it's like they pause the gif of the bird flapping, so the bird stops flapping, you hear a
You
sound,
see a splodge of red,
tiny little
which is
splodge of red
meant to be
on
his
the bird,
blood on the
and
bird.
then it just falls flat out the sky.
It's.
But
I wrote a note about that to say it was like an 80s video game, like
Yeah,
the graphics
Duck Hunt.
were that. Yeah, like the
Yeah.
graphics were that bad. It was
fire away,
like,
shoot a duck, is it plop?
yeah, It was like a computer game, wasn't it?
And I don't think they were trying to make it look like a computer game.
No, they weren't. Definitely
But
trying
that
to
would have
best
been
CGI.
if
But that would have been a style, wouldn't it? It would have been like
Yeah.
a stylised graphic. It would have looked pretty
or
cool,
if
maybe.
at least some of this movie was trying to be tongue in cheek, but it wasn't. It was being serious. It was trying to be a serious film.
But you can do stuff like that really well.
Mm-hmm.
Like you could have it that, okay, the style of this movie, when people die, it's like a retro kind of video game. If you did that well, that could be amazing.
Yeah.
But this was
So
like...
here's this little thing. If we were to remake this movie, that's the change that you would make.
Yeah.
Make it a bit more stylised. And
definitely work on the CGI, definitely. But yeah, that was what it reminded me of. It was just like an old-fashioned computer game from 20, 30 years ago where,
Yeah.
the CGI just wasn't there. Like when you think about the computer games you had 80s, 90s compared to what they have now, what my kids have now.
Do you remember those old CD-ROM video games that kind of blurred live action with computers? So it was like, no, I never had one. It was after like things like the Mega Drive and the Super Nintendo, and there was like, you had like, was it called the Mega CD, the Sega Mega CD?
I don't think I haven't, no.
And you had kind of like live action mixed in with computer graphics.
Oh, okay.
And it didn't last very long. It wasn't a good like medium for gaming, to be honest. Or Pit Fighter. Do you remember Pit Fighter, where you had like
that one either.
slightly pixelized real pictures of people fighting?
Oh no, I didn't think I ever had that.
So if they could have, that's the sort of style. If they could have done that kind of thing with the birds, and maybe made it look like they were being shot down in a.
It was obvious it was that style. You could have done it really well. It could have been quite impressive.
And the movie and the rest of the movie being a little bit tongue in cheek, like I said, like a romance in the middle of a disaster.
Because you see
and
that
a bit
you
of comedy
do
with
see bits in movies where it's ordinary movie, and then they'll do a little cutaway scene that's either sort of a graphic or it's just a very different style, but it's deliberately done. It's done well, so it works. But this was just like clip art. It was just so shit.
It was absolutely dreadful. All right, so that's our death. I think the fact that the deaths you don't see them a lot, and then the bird deaths again are pretty crappy. So that leads us on to the special effects, and this is where I've got the most notes.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, so. The first note I wrote was, after the first date and they see 3 CGI birds flying around that tree.
Oh, that was awful. The first time we see the birds.
It did make me think, actually, just all the CGI birds in general.
Yeah.
But that first introduction to the bird
first time
images,
we saw the birds, we were just like, what the hell?
But these weren't the same birds as attack people. These were
was a different clip, wasn't
these
it?
were like CGI of
This was just
parrots or something.
Oh, and also, just to point out that in the beginning of this movie, they mention pigeons and... why do I keep forgetting the other bird? Another type of bird.
Eagles?
Pigeons and... No, it's not eagles. It's pigeons and something else.
remember.
But then when we get into the movie, there's no pigeons and there's no...
This
other breed of bird.
Yeah, they are just something else. Yeah, I can't remember what bird it was they mentioned.
Yeah, they mentioned 2 birds in the beginning, as if that's the birds that are doing this.
But the actual birds that attack
birds
are
like birds
eagles.
of prey, aren't
they
they?
mention they say that the eagles are attacking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So why mention the pigeons and the whatever else they mentioned in the beginning if they're not
it's the
actually...
newsreader that mentions pigeons turning up. It's pigeons turning up dead. That's the thing.
Oh, is it? Oh, so do we think the birds of prey are killing the pigeons as well?
But that doesn't seem right, because the birds are there to punish mankind for their treatment of the...
They wouldn't kill other birds then, would they?
Exactly. So did the pigeons die because of something man did, and that's what turned the birds against us?
Were the pigeons part of it? I don't know. Maybe it was all birds. It was
maybe this film just leans into the old conspiracy theory that birds aren't real. They're all just mechanical cameras for the government to watch us.
Okay. Isn't there a Black Mirror with bees like that, or is that something else?
There is a Black Mirror with bees that are used.
Like
they were used to replace bees that were dying to pollinate, but they were hacked by someone to.
Yeah, I thought I'd watched something like that.
That's right. So yeah. So yeah, the CGI of the birds is absolutely shocking, and it's a real takes you out of it because it's that bad.
I can't explain how awful it is. Like, people need to at least look up on YouTube
Yeah.
the CGI birds because it is shockingly bad. When we first saw them, we were like, I mean, this is 2010, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it's not that long ago. It's 13 years.
And,
And you've got other movies. I think, when did like Jurassic World, the newer ones, come out? Were they around that sort of time, like the first one?
I'm going to say they were around about 2016, 2015, something like that.
So 5 years later.
Yeah.
But when you look at stuff like that, or like something like Avatar or something like that, you're like,
yeah,
the CGI was there. The CGI was there was decent CGI in 2010. Decent enough.
Yeah, there was.
You could make it look...
I don't think there was decent enough CGI for a budget of $10,000.
No, that's the thing, isn't it?
And that is the mad thing.
Then it was clear.
But I mean, maybe even I'm sure you could afford stock footage of.
That's what I was going to say.
Birds of prey.
Yeah, if you just got some stock footage of birds and tried to overlay that.
Yeah.
But this was like clip art or like animated GIFs. This wasn't like actual footage of real birds.
Yeah.
So that's why it looked even worse. If they'd have just got, even if you could tell, oh, that's overlaid, they're not really there. At least they would have been real birds.
Yeah. Now I've already mentioned the sound of the birds as well. The constant wailing when they're on.
Annoying.
That was just like the most pointless special effect. I mean, like SFX. I'm going to put sound in with SFX here as well. The sound of the birds. And you know what? I've even got a note here. The forest fires are the same fire image used when the birds dive bomb and explode.
Again, like clip art, just like a little ball of fire every now and then. And also when they shot the guns. When they shot the guns and you get a little like burst of like a flash. It was just every single piece of special effects was awful.
It was dire, absolutely dire. Have you got anything else about special effects?
Also, and I don't know why, whether it's just the quality of the camera, but when we first started watching it, I said to you that Rod, the main actor, he doesn't look like he's there. He looks like he was overlaid into the scene. Because he had like this weird halo around his body. I think. And no one else did.
Yeah, it was really weird. And I don't know if it was it like the colour of clothes that they made that he was wearing?
His hair as well, wasn't it?
It made him look like he was really, really far away.
But it just made him look like he wasn't actually in the scene.
Yeah, it really did. It was so weirdly done. Right, I don't have anything else to talk about in the categories, Emma. Have you got any last thing you want to mention before we start rating this movie?
I don't think so.
No?
No, that's it, I think.
Well, I'm going to go so far as to say, I'm going to start rating this movie, right? I know I normally come to you because I like to be like, oh, I'm not going to say how much I'm going to rate it until you do first. But this is a 0.
Is it?
This is a 0.
I don't think you've rated anything a 0, have you?
I have. I've rated one other thing a 0. I think House Shark I gave a 0.
Oh, House Shark was the worst. Did I give that a minus or did I give it a 0?
No, I think you gave it a half point because of something. I can't remember.
Oh, it was the end.
Because of the end.
Head.
Yeah, the head at the end that made you laugh. That was it. But yeah, this is a 0 out of 5. I'm glad I've actually watched it because it's a very well-known bad movie, Birdemic. But I was hoping that it would be like a bad movie but have some of the redeeming sort of qualities of a bad movie. You know, it's made by people who maybe really care about movies but just didn't have the budget but they did as best as they could with it. Here they haven't really done the best they could have with it. You know. I feel like I want to give it like a quarter of a star, a little bit.
That's what I was just debating if I'm going to give it.
Natalie's performance, and like she's trying to give it some welly.
She does try to. She is at least trying to act.
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like Rod is not even trying. He's just accepted that he can't act.
Yeah.
He's trying to get through his lines as quickly as he can. He's so wooden through the whole movie.
Yeah.
I mean, even when stuff's happening, like, you'd have some sort of, like, you know, when the birds are attacking and stuff.
Yeah.
You can fake some sort of reaction to that, surely.
Oh, you must be able to.
It's just, the same all the way through. There's no emotion, there's no enthusiasm, there's no oomph, there's just nothing.
Has he done, and that's the thing, like, he's done other movies. Oh my God. He's been in, actually.
Has he been in quite a lot of stuff?
Yeah, he's been in quite a lot of stuff. I mean, like...
Has it been anything we know, though, or like other bad movies?
Well, he's been in Parks and Recreation.
Has he?
Yeah, but To be fair, he was in Parks and Recreation. His part was attendee seated, so he must have been in like one of the town hall meetings or something. But he's also in Boba Fett, the Book of Boba Fett on Disney Plus,
Oh, okay.
playing a character called Nutcracker Biker, which I've got no
I
idea.
wonder if he's any better in those things then, or whether
Maybe
he's just as wooden and.
Maybe he's them. You know, and he's worked hard, and you look back at his time on
Birdemic.
Birdemic, and he's just a guy
Maybe he's
fighting to get some sort of career. But he's in Birdemic 2, The Resurrection, playing the same character, thankfully. Although I don't see him in Birdemic 3. Oh dear. Oh, poor Rod, maybe. Oh no, Birdemic 3, Sea Eagle 2022. He's in that. Yeah.
I can't believe they're making 4 of them.
It's mad, isn't it? Absolutely mad. There you go. There you go. So yeah, he's been in some stuff after that, but he's pretty terrible. Right. How many stars are you giving it?
I was toying with the idea of a 1/4 star.
Okay.
But there's not really a real reason for that.
Are we both giving this 0?
I think I'm going to have to give it 0, only because I remember towards the end turning to you and saying, can you die from watching this? Because I feel like you can die from watching this movie. So if I was making comments like that, and I don't think anything redeemed it, I don't, like with House Shark, that was god awful, but that little bit at the end did really make me laugh, and I did think that was a good little touch. So I had to give it something for that.
Yeah.
It was a long process to get to the end.
Mm-hmm.
But with this one, I can't think of any little redeeming quality that I can go, oh yeah, but that happened and that was enough to give it a point. I can't, or even part of a point. So I think I'm going to have to score it 0. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe if we'd seen some of the deaths, or maybe that would have helped.
Something to just swing it along in its favour.
Something just to be able to justify that point or half a point. But if I haven't got anything that I can pick out and go, yes, that happened, I liked it, like with House Shark, then I don't think I can give it a point or even.
Yeah, I agree.
Point.
I agree. So yeah, it's a pretty dire turnout for Birdemic, Shock and Terror. However, unlike House Shark, I would actually recommend that you watch it.
I would recommend that you go onto YouTube and try and find some of the CGI of the birds, but I wouldn't recommend you spending like an hour and a half of your life on it, especially as 45 minutes of that is just nothing.
It's a strange one. It's a strange one because it ain't great. It's tough to watch, but I wouldn't ever watch it again.
Look,
I'm just glad I can tick it off the box to say I've watched Birdemic.
But there's bad movies that we have reviewed, which are so bad they're good. Where you can go, that's awful, but oh, that was amazing. That scene was amazing. That line was amazing. You can pick things out and go, it's a great bad movie to watch. This one,
this scene,
no.
This scene, you can. I think it's like a bucket list bad movie. If you watch this, there's no hope for you. but no,
They've obviously had some sort of audience because if they're making number 4, there's obviously like a
and I think it is
cult following.
And that's the thing. I think it is just like a cult of bad people who watch bad movies.
Yeah.
But this doesn't have, I don't think, the charm of a bad movie.
No, that's
it doesn't have that charm. It just looks like it was made by someone who sounds a bit mad.
And we've definitely watched things where you've gone, it's actually made us laugh.
Yeah.
Because it's so bad, or you thought, oh, that's brilliant. Or actually, some of the like Carousel, the like makeup when they had like wounds and stuff was actually really good. It was well done.
It was.
So there are movies that are, yes, they're bad, but they're a good bad watch.
Yeah.
But this one, I'd say, it wasn't.
No, absolutely not.
Such a come down after Snakes on a Plane as well.
Yeah, it really was. It really was. Right. So, with all that in mind, if you wanna come and catch us over on the
flip side,
and we're gonna try and scrape together.
I don't know what we're going to
how we're going to talk about some of the good stuff of this film. I literally have one note for good stuff in this movie.
I think I've got 2 notes.
You got 2 notes. Well, if you want to find out what those notes are, so what could possibly redeem this movie, join us on
the flip side.
And I'm still so sorry, Emma, that I said
I haven't forgotten about it,
Said
David.
it. I
So
know. Look, I'm going to go and get berated by Emma. No, you're not going to berate me for it, but we're going to go, we're going to have words, we're going to have a meeting off podcast about how bad I was.
yeah,
And then
we'll do that one off podcast.
yeah,
We normally have our meetings during the podcast.
We'll catch you over on the Patreon. Like I say, if you're listening, please do, follow us on social media. If for some reason you found us because of the episode was being about Birdemic and you wanted to maybe hear a podcast about it before you watched it, give us a follow on social media if you like what you hear. Give some of the episodes a listen because they're not all bad movies.
No, we've
They're
got
not.
some
Some of them are.
crackers in there,
Some crackers we do find in there. But yeah, thanks everyone. Bye.
Bye.